Feature Friday.
The freshest.
This just going back to the K-pop industry part. Um, what are like the groups that you guys maybe resonated with the most individually, and then because I'm sure you listen to lots of music, you know, so and now I bet your music library is an absolute mess. It's like Korean industry, like American. I don't know if you guys will listen to like Latino music where we're from, but what's kind of like maybe just Korean industry? What kind of artists are you listening to at the moment?
Well, I can answer because that's really easy for me. I was working out earlier today, and my first go-to artist to turn on this morning, so fresh off the press, like was Blackpink. I go back to the Blackpink album, and it's just honestly those girls give me fire. That's my honest answer.
Good, I love that. What about you, Monroe? Tell me what's on your playlist right now.
You know what? I literally like everything, so it's hard for me to pick specifically which K-pop group or K-pop artist I'm continuously listening to. But I will say, kind of like you, as I was getting ready this morning, one of my all-time favorite songs came on, and I just thought it was like, it was kind of faded in that sense because we were filming and doing all of our shoots today. And one of the songs that I get ready to before we perform, before we do anything important with Reverse, is Infact's Na Na Na. Na Na Na. I don't know if you've heard it before, but they're kind of a smaller K-pop group, in fact, and their song Na 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 literally gives me life. It like pumps me up. Yeah, euphoria to just do everything. And the fact that it played on my list today, like on shuffle, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a sign. So
It's
yeah.
going to be a great day.
Exactly.
I actually don't know who they are, so I'm gonna search them up after.
Yeah, I think you've probably heard them because I've played them.
Oh, really?
Like
Oh,
off
nice.
camera. Yeah, definitely. What about the rest? Come on, tell me what's up.
You know what? I am gonna keep it all the way real with y'all. I don't listen to K-pop. Like outside of here, I don't really listen to K-pop.
Right.
Fair enough. So
Yeah.
what do you listen to when you like to get?
Oh, so you still want to know what I listen to? I thought it was just
of
K-pop.
course.
Okay.
No.
Well, 90s R&B, 90s hip hop. I'm stuck in the 90s.
And that's
Yeah.
okay too. I mean,
Yeah.
what a vibe.
Yeah, I think we'd get along. That's
Yeah, I think so.
What type of what type of old school R&B are you listening to at the moment?
Oh my god. Okay.
Hit me.
So like Brandy, Drew Hill. Yeah, I love Brandy. Ooh. Destiny's Child, like the original lineup. No shade to Michelle. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur. Everybody from as shady as Diddy was to his artists, I love almost every single bad boy artist. Like Toto.
Oh, it's so hard now to love him, but I still do. I thought it's so weird.
Right?
It's so hard. It's so hard to love Diddy because all the stories now are coming out. I'm sorry, not coming out now, but we've always known that he hasn't always paid the artist, but a lot of them who are coming out now and talking very like no holds barred about it, it's very disheartening.
Yeah.
But I try to keep like this like rose-colored glasses and just like pretend that it's all gravy, but he's a little shady, but it's all good. And Mary J. Blige, can't forget Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, maybe the best way to approach it. I was discussing this sometimes with some of my mates and Waleska, and it's like maybe the best way to approach it is kind of separate
Their personal life to their craft.
to their craft, you know, because it would be a crime to say that he made shit music when he didn't.
When he was a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
person, you know, like it's like putting things in the balance.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Like, I think that's why I still do listen to all of those artists. But at the same time, like when I say it's hard, it's hard because I think also I don't know if you guys are artists, like you really could be, like just hearing y'all talk and your personalities and your energy, whatever. I'm like, y'all are stars in your own right. So I don't know what you guys do outside of this, but for us, like being artists and being, especially like somebody who's writing songs and knowing how important publishing is and those different things like that, and to know that there are artists out there who have like literally written their entire catalog, like Mace, and never got the money that he was due, like, and to know that the person directly responsible for that was Diddy or Puff Daddy or whatever you want to call him. Like it is hard to look at him and not feel like, how could you essentially steal from these people who like, it's not easy to sit down and like write a song and like put your energy and your efforts into creating this piece of art, and for them to go out into the world and for that thing to blow up and people are loving it and you're the only one not getting paid for the work that you did. It's like,
You know what it's like?
I know it's a tough pill to swallow, certainly, and
Yeah, I was
it-
just gonna say it's almost like the term like put your dollar where your vote is, or
Your mouth is.
yeah. So it's almost like that, but it's like I think the difficulty is like putting your ear like where your like just moral compass, you know. But yeah,
I think it's hard
Yeah,
to
so-
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think in those cases you kind of have to be very critical, right? So if you're thinking about if you're listening to their music, you gotta get nitty gritty. Why is it that I like it? What is it that I'm supporting? And what is it really that resonates with me? And obviously, when you discover all of these scandals, all of these troubles, right, that are so meaningful when it comes to the artist and the craft, and how could you do that to people that are giving their lives, that are sacrificing so much of themselves in order to make a living out of this? And it's difficult.
It's rough.
I
It's
totally
a rough
agree,
position.
though. Yeah.
Just we toured. We're from South America in Venezuela, and we toured from a very young age. So since the age of 4, 3 until I was 11, and Waleska was until 16, 15.
Yeah.
And lots of TV and lots of music. We played a lot. I was a percussionist, still am. And Vale always a singer. And one of the things that I guess when you're so young, you never notice is how much you're kind of like a little puppet, really, at the start, and that's why I think it's really impressive what you guys are doing, because you said 10 years, man. It's so hard to
That's
even
a
survive
lifetime.
in the industry for 10 years.
Absolutely.
It's difficult, but those years of touring and gigs and singing and performing and studios and money, and it's like all of a sudden you start realizing that the bigger the scale, right? Because we didn't do it at that big of a scale. We only did it at a national scale. But it's so easy to imagine once these artists that become viral, or they're very they have a lot of global potential. It's so easy to then imagine sort of the nastiness that must also be involved in that, in the world of music itself.
Definitely.
So I do like your perspective, Zach, as well. But it's it's just sometimes it's like, why do I like this song when this guy's a prick, But Khadija, your music, please. I love knowing this because then it makes my playlist more rich.
Yes. Well, my playlist is a lot of K-pop these days. Like, I think since we started our YouTube channel, my playlist has just become more and more K-pop all the time. Lately, I'm listening to a lot of like more K-R&B. So it's like Dean and Crush, and like, though that's kind of my vibe. Or SM, like, I love EXO. Anytime an EXO song comes on or a Red Velvet song comes on, because they do have a lot of those, like, it's a very pop sound with all the R&B infused, which is obviously what we're into. Like, that pop R&B mix is like, it gives me so much life. So that's mostly my playlist.